Hello and welcome back to the PSD to HTML flat design build. In this lesson we're going to create a simple animated hover effect for our main menu items so that when we hover over them they will lighten up ever so slightly. And the way we're going to do that, if you remember, our list items are the items that have the background color applied to them. So we're going to create a hover effect for those list items so that when we hover over them the background will lighten up. So let's get that done first, and then we'll worry about the actual animation. But I've moved all of our files into the Site 13 folder, so all the changes we make here will be saved in that Site 13 folder. And I'm going to scroll up to the top where we defined all of our background colors here. And now I want to create some new rules here. Now I don't want to just create a hover effect for BG orange. Oops, I didn't mean to put a space there. If we created just a hover effect for BG orange, then it would apply that hover effect to anything, any item that we gave a background color of orange to, or that we at least applied that class to. And we might actually end up having items on our page that have an orange background that we've applied this class to that we don't necessarily want to apply a hover effect to. So I want to get a little bit more specific with this, and I'm going to point inside the main-nav class space .bg orange hover. So we're creating this hover effect for anything with a class of BG orange that's inside the main navigation. And when we hover over that, we're going to set our background color to a value of FD8A70. And that'll just lighten up that orange color a little bit. So let's test that and make sure it works. We'll save our CSS file, jump into our browser, refresh our page. And now when we hover over that orange button, the background lightens up a little bit, and that looks good. So let's do the same thing for our other four colors. We'll jump back into our file, and for our purple, we're going to make a class, or a rule, for the main nav class space .bg-purple : hover. And for this one, we're going to set the background color to a value of E993C9. Then we'll do the same thing for the yellow background color, so .main-nav space BG-yellow. Oops, I need to put that : hover there. And we're going to set the background color property equal to FFD777. Then for the green background, we'll do the same thing, so main-nav space .bg-green : hover, keep forgetting that. And then we'll set the background color there to a value of C4EAA0. And then I'm going to skip the dark green because we don't have any hover effects for the dark green class. So we'll skip that and go down to the BG blue class, and we'll create a new rule for main nav space .bg-blue : hover. And here we'll set the background color to a value of 9DE4E7. And that should take care of our hovers. So let's save that, jump back into our browser and refresh. And now as we hover over each one, we're getting a slightly lighter color of background. Now turning this into an animation is very, very easy. It only requires one line of CSS, surprisingly enough, and it will animate from the current color to whatever the hover color is. So let's jump back into our code and let's make that happen. Now I want that to happen to all of these rules here. So the BG orange within the main nav, the BG purple within the main nav, etc. So up here just above all of these rules, we're going to create a rule for .main-nav space .bg orange, comma, .main-nav space .bg purple is the second one, comma, and then .main-nav space .bg yellow, comma, and then we'll go to the next line to finish this out, .main-nav space .bg green, and then finally .main-nav space .bg-blue. So for all of these items, you'll notice I'm not applying this to the hover effect, I'm applying it to the BG class itself, but only to the BG classes that are inside that main nav. And what we're going to do is we're going to create a transition effect. and we're going to transition the background color. So I'm going to type background-color. This is where we type the property that we want to transition or animate, and then I'm going to type how long I want it to take. I want it to take half a second, and the way we type that in here is 0.5 s for seconds. And by adding this property, instead of just jumping to this new background color whenever we hover over those items, it will actually animate to that background color. So let's save that and see if it works. We'll jump back into our browser, refresh our page, and now you'll see as we hover over each button, we get an animated effect instead of just jumping to that new hover color. And when you move your mouse cursor away, it animates back to the original color. It's a very nice, smooth effect that's really easy to do. And I mentioned that it only takes one line of CSS code, but if you want to cover your bases, you might include a couple more lines here with some vendor prefixes on it. So let's just copy that and then paste it 3 times. And then we'll put some vendor prefixes in front of these new ones. So WebKit-transition, and then -MOZ-transition for Mozilla browsers, and then -O-transition for Opera. So we'll just save that, and then again, double check one more time to make sure that those hover effects still work and everything looks good. So we're almost finished with our main menu. Now we just need to create, if we go to our Photoshop file, we need to create these little circles that show up in the dividers for our main menu buttons. And we'll discover that we can actually create that entirely in CSS. So we'll get to that in the next video. Thank you for watching.